So for today's video, we're changing out this old faucet for something a little bit more, new. With a sprayer built into the faucet instead of having a sprayer off to the side. Tools needed for this job are a 5/8" wrench, a good pair of pliers. Then you can use a screwdriver with the multiple bits, but no, I prefer speed, so I use my impact. Now that we got our tools together, let's get to work. So the first thing we have to do is get everything out from underneath the cabinet. You might also want to put a towel down under there, because when you start to take connections off, water may come out. So we turn off our water connections underneath the sink. And just to make sure they're off, we'll go up top and turn the faucet on. No water coming out the hot or cold side. So we'll go down below and start taking things apart. So we grab our 5/8" wrench and we're going to undo the hose connection right there at the valve. Now sometimes when you take these off, some water may drip out, which is why you want a towel or a small bucket or even a pot, just anything to capture the extra water. The water you see dripping out is usually water that's still trapped inside the hose. Since we turned the valve off, there should be water inside the hose between the hose and the faucet. Sometimes if it's an older fitting inside the wall, it may have a bad washer, which will cause it to leak a little, which is why you want a towel or a bucket. So now that we have those off, let's continue taking our faucet apart. So on each side of the hose connections, up by the sink, you'll see these two big plastic, look like washers almost, with threads coming down between the middle of them. That's what holds the faucet to the sink. So we're just going to unscrew those, and then we'll be able to pull our faucet up and disconnect everything else up top where we have more room to work. So now all we have to do is pull our faucet up. It's this black plastic washer underneath it, which is fine. And here we'll be able to get to all the connections. So this white hose here is actually what holds the sprayer or connects the sprayer to the faucet. And then the two copper lines are your hot and cold water lines coming up from the wall into the faucet. So we'll just try to work our way up, getting this out. Now, if it's a garbage faucet, like it's broken, you can just cut those, let it drop, pull your faucet up and be done. But this faucet isn't bad, it's just being upgraded, so we can always save this faucet for emergency repair in case one is broken or one leaks. So we're going to be careful pulling this out to try to make sure we don't damage our hoses or our connections. And then we'll go ahead and get everything disconnected. Now to finish pulling this out, we need to disconnect the sprayer. So the white hose there has two blue clips on it that you need to squeeze from either side, and then you'll be able to slide that hose off. So I'm going to rotate this, so I take my pair of pliers and squeeze that down. Sometimes you squeeze it down with just your hand, sometimes you need a pair of pliers. If you're using a pair of pliers, you don't want to squeeze too hard. You want to squeeze just enough to make that clip go in so you can slide that off. Again, unless it's garbage, then who cares? But we plan on keeping this as an emergency spare for another apartment. So we'll get that off. Now that that's disconnected, all we have to do is push that down in there, and we'll be able to pull our sprayer out completely. With that out, now we'll be able to just pull our faucet up out of the sink, and then our removal is done, and we can start getting ready for our new faucet. One more quick thing before we install the new faucet. Now's actually a great time to scrub around where the old faucet was at, because usually you'll find a ring of dirt depending on how long that faucet has been around that sink. Doesn't matter how much you try to clean, you'll never be able to get dirt from underneath there unless you have it off. So since we'll have it off, we'll go ahead and clean that up real good. Plus that way, in case the new faucet doesn't match exactly, you won't have a ring around where the new faucet is. All right, here comes the fun part, checking out the new faucet. So you open the box up, you should find instructions for installation, which hopefully this video makes it so you don't need those, but read them over just in case you have to. Then we'll pull this up and we will see our brand new faucet. So these faucets always have the hoses connected to them already. This plate here covers up the holes on the top of the sink. This here is your weight. You attach that weight so when you let go of the sprayer, it pulls the sprayer back in. You have all the other parts you need. There's adapters to fit to a larger hose size. That right there helps secure your faucet to the sink. Those are spare washers, because when the washers get dirty, you're going to need to change them. And then they have a spare parts kit. And of course, all our connections here are already mounted into the faucet since it's all one piece. All right, let's go get this installed. So you see I have the parts that secure this faucet laying on the side of the sink here. Now, this faucet comes with a plate to cover those 3 holes. That 4th hole there is where the sprayer originally came through. You can get a blank to cover that up, but they won't put a soap dispenser in, so we'll do that in a later video. So, for as far as going with the faucet, what I like to do is to feed all my hoses through this plate first, and then feed them into the hole in the sink. Now, it's going to go through that center hole. Because usually with the older faucets, it's the 3 holes, the center hole where the water gets mixed at, and the 2 other holes where the 2 other pipes, hot and cold, come in. So since it's new, everything's going to come through the 1 hole, so you have to go through that center hole. So we slide it all in there. Just get it sit there for now, and then we'll take our parts to secure it, which would be these here, go underneath and get everything tightened up. So the first thing we're going to do is take the rubber washer and slide all our hoses through that, and then we take the metal washer and slide our hoses through that, and we take all the hoses through those washers and we slide those washers all the way up to the top. Once we get those up to the top, we take the metal piece that has a split in it. That's the part that secures to the sink. It's also threaded. And we'll slide the hoses through that slot and then thread that up around that little metal pipe up there. Now this is where it's helpful to have a second person, because that person can stay up top and basically straighten the faucet out and line everything up to make sure that it's straight and square. If you don't have a second person, it's fine. You just tighten that up, get it nice and snug. Don't make it super tight. Then go up top, straighten everything out, and then go back down and tighten it up as tight as you can. Now we're going to tighten this up, get it nice and snug. Then you can take your screwdriver, or I like to use my impact, and just tighten the 2 screws on either side. You don't want to over tighten it, because remember that plate that's covering the holes up there is just plastic. If you over tighten it, you could crack that plate. We just want to tighten up just enough so it's nice and snug so it doesn't move. Once we get that nice and tight, only thing left to do is the rest of our connections. So now we're going to take our hoses, move them out the way, because we're going to put our counterweight on, or basically just our weight. So that big black weight that was inside the box is going to go onto this black hose. The hose is marked as far as where to put the weight. So you take your weight, you find the mark on the hose, and you line your weight up with that mark. The weight is split in half. So all you gotta do is unscrew 1 screw all the way out and take the other screw out just enough to turn it, or you take both screws out, it doesn't matter. You're going to take your weight, put it over that mark, and then you're going to tighten the weight back down. Now again, you can use a regular Phillips screwdriver, but I like to use my impact for speed, so I'll go ahead and use my impact to get this done. Once we get this on here nice and tight, we'll be able to test it out. What this does is that when you pull the sprayer out and then you let it go, it'll pull the sprayer back into the base of the faucet. Otherwise, without this, you pull that sprayer out, it'll just continue to lay inside the sink until you put it back in there by hand. So if we got our weight on, we pull the sprayer out, we let it go, you see it go right back up. Pull it out again, it'll go right back up. You can look underneath, we'll pull the sprayer, watch the weight, it'll pull it right back down. All right, now we got that done. Let's hook up our water.
So,
now whenever you're looking at
labeled
a sink or
hot
a tub
and
or
cold.
anything, hot is on
My
the left,
rule.
cold
This should
is
be
on
your
the
hot.
right. It's just how
This
it's
should be
always
your
been, as
cold.
far as I know. Now, it could be different someplace else, but I've never seen a place where it's different. So, we're going to find our hose labeled H for hot and put that on the hot side. We're going to get it started by hand. Remember, we always want to start anything, time we thread anything, we always start it by hand. That way we make sure we don't cross thread it. Then we grab our cold hose and put it on the cold side. Make sure we don't have it tangled up in that black hose. Otherwise, we're going to pull that up. We're pulling our cold or hot water hose. It's just a hassle. So we'll get this started on there. You see I struggled a little bit. I'm still recovering from my thumb surgery. Oh well. We'll get this on there nice and tight by hand, and then we grab our 5/8 wrench and tighten it down all the way. Now we don't want to over tighten this. It's a small rubber washer inside there. If you over tighten it, you could cut that washer and then you have leaks. So just get it snug. You basically tell it to stop turning. You're not putting a lot of force on it. And then go ahead and tighten down your other side. You see I have to use the wrench over here because I'm struggling with my right hand still. That just shows you how easy this is. I do this with 1.5 hands. Please do not pay somebody to do this. So once we got those nice and snug, we can turn our water on and, well, we're basically done. We'll turn it on. We don't see any leaks. We'll go up top and we get to play with our new faucet. So it's a very simple job. Again, please don't pay somebody. So we'll go up here, we turn the water on, make sure it mixes, make sure we get hot and cold, and also make sure it gets warm when it's in the middle. So right here should be warm, up is hot, down is cold, and then we're going to also check to make sure that the sprayer sprays. If all that works, then we're good to go. So, thanks again for checking out my video. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments section. Please take the time to check out my other videos. You know, very easy project. Please don't pay somebody to do this. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This hole over here will be taken care of in another video when we put the soap dispenser in there. Alright, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And please check out my other videos. I'm telling you, they're good.